Right, our first participants start to join. Welcome, everybody. As you join, you can use the chat facility at the bottom of the screen and just tell us who you are and from where you are. Use that chat facility and just announce yourself so that we know who you are and from where you are. Welcome, everybody. It's such a pleasure to host Golden Key members this time of the day and also this time of the year. We're much appreciative of your time, and we know that you're actually writing exams. So it must be really important for you. Use that chat function and tell me who you are and from where you are. Participants are joining fast, so that's great. We have Danielle. Hi, Danielle. She's from Pietermaritzburg. Narina is here. Hi, Narina. Nikisha, good afternoon. She's from Pietermaritzburg. Danielle is from Leidenburg. And another Danielle from Senekal, and Jolene from Bethlehem, Renee from Newcastle, Dr. Kalei from Pietermaritzburg, Heinrich from Pretoria, Inge from Meyerton, Renee from Centurion, Katarina also from Centurion, Deveshni from Durban, Robin from PE, Tyron from DUT, Sia from Potch, Sam from Joburg, Rosemary from Boksburg, Latabo from Polokwane. So as you can hear, Ayanda from Gauteng, Dr. Madukuza from PE, Nigel from Newcastle, Philip from Cape Town, Sisetu from Cape Town, Jessie from UWC, Elizabeth from Vereniging, Dr. Powell, Itibogeng from My King, Jade from UKZN, Shireen from Pretoria, Siabonga from Pietermaritzburg, Galaletsang from Potch, Naletabu from UWC, Prash from UKZN, Ontlametse from My King, Tosha Lee from Benoni. We have really every country or province and area in South Africa is represented. Annika from Bloemfontein, Letlogonolo from UFS. Letlogonolo, I'm sure you love my pronunciation of your name. It's Letlogonolo from Mapanya from UFS. Great. We're waiting for another minute or two, and I don't want to waste more time to wait for people, but I also want to give people a decent timing to join us. Yes, you did pronounce it well. Thanks, Letlogonolo. I thought so. That's the only one black language I do a bit, and that's Tswana. Okay, so I'm not going to further delay waiting. Oh, Lisbeth. Hello, Lisbeth Pakati. And with that, I am going to start to introduce our host. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. In the second series, or the second webinar in our career series, last week was so popular and people really enjoyed your session. So we're very honored to have you back today. And I quickly want to introduce you to our audience. So Jackie is an alumni of Golden Keys. As you will hear when she starts to speak, she's awesome. Golden Key members are awesome. She's a psychology honors graduate from the University of Pretoria, and her background in psychology provided a solid foundation for her to venture into the world of recruitment, where she went on to build an impressive track record over 13 years. So we're really honored to have somebody with a lot of years of experience in recruitment to specifically address our members. During this time, she has honed her skills to the point that she's now recognized as a specialist in specifically the IT and financial sector, but also in other sectors. She employs a holistic approach to recruitment, and by focusing not just on the employer requirements, but also on the candidate's requirements, experience and organizational culture, and comprehensive job profiling. So with that, it never serves really the speaker well to just introduce them with a short resume. The real introduction starts when they speak. So I'm going to hand over to Jackie. Just a few house rules. Use your Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to post questions during the webinar. I will summarize the questions because we will get many of these questions that are similar, and then I will get Jackie to respond to those from time to time during the presentation. So welcome everybody, and with that, I'm handing over to Jackie. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back this week, and for everybody who joined last week and is back this week. So in our career series, today we are looking at the job search. So the specific things I'm going to focus on today are your various job portals, how to navigate through these portals, putting together a professional profile that in the end is going to increase your chances of being noticed or, you know, attracting attention of a recruiter. So yeah, the points, as I mentioned, we're touching on today are, I'm going to look at a little bit from my perspective, so the recruiter's perspective, to give you guys an idea of why we are doing the profiles in a certain way. We're going to look at our popular job portals, how to get your profile viewed, and then I'll just take you through some of the portals. I'm just focusing on the popular ones, but I'll take you through a few of the portals, and then tips, and then obviously some questions. So let's look at it from the recruiter's perspective. So if you were in last week's session, you'll remember I told you about the 6-second rule. So it's not the 5-second rule, but 6-second rule. So most recruiters take 6 seconds to look at a CV or a profile. And why would this be? Everyone thinks, oh my gosh, 6 seconds, that's way too little. The reason for this is, as a recruiter, if I put out a job ad for a certain role, whether it be a financial manager or, you know, a recruiter, on average, I will get 200 plus applicants for one job. So yeah, it's a lot for one individual to go through. And obviously, most of the time we're working on more than one role. So we have to skim through applications. So on average, a half of that, so 50% of those applications will not even meet the minimum requirements. So we'll scale out 50% of those. Out of that 100, we will usually do, or recruiters will usually have, you know, in their CRM or their ATS, we'll have a keyword search function. So we'll use this in order to search for profiles that match our minimum requirements and meet our requirements. Roughly out of that 100, we'll probably get about 20 that match the profile that we're looking for, from the that have to match in terms of personality, aptitude, and experience, you know, and match that to the hiring manager's needs. And out of that 20, we'll then find about 4-6 profiles that'll end up going to the hiring manager for review. So you can see it's quite a lot that we need to go through. So in order to make those 6 seconds count, you know, you need to do things in a certain way. So the popular portals that recruiters are using, and that, you know, obviously job applicants are usually your LinkedIn, PNet, Career Junction, and Careers 24. There are other portals, but I'm not going to focus on those today. We only have a certain amount of time. So I'm not going to look at those today. I'm going to look at the popular portals. So these are the portals that most recruiters and companies are loading their jobs on. So the purpose of these portals, from your perspective as a career seeker, is to increase your online presence and increase your chance of landing a role. So you want to be noticed by recruiters, you want to be noticed by employers, and obviously the ultimate goal is to get your perfect job. But we have to look at this as more than just a job search, because there are a lot. Think of the 200. There are a lot of people looking for jobs. So you need to look at this as a personal branding experience. You're building your own brand to present to an employer. So don't sell yourself short in this process. It can feel a little egotistical, a little selfish to put in some of the information that you want to. You might be a little shy to do it, but don't sell yourself short. If you were in last week's session, you know, using your CV and your career or your cover letter are an introduction. They're a marketing tool, so use it to your advantage. LinkedIn is probably the foundation that most recruiters use. So it's also a foundation for you to build your personal brand, because this is the portal that most recruiters go on first and most often. So I'll be spending a big portion of this webinar on LinkedIn, because that's where we spend most of our time. So I can go through the others, and I'm going to go through the others, but I'm going to show you how to make your profile or get your profile viewed on LinkedIn by a recruiter such as myself. So that brings me to our next section. So how are we going to get your profile viewed? So because of these big volumes of applications that recruiters tend to get on job applications, most recruiters will do what they call a proactive job search. So once my client has approached me and said, Jackie, I'm looking for a financial manager. I keep on using that example, but it's the first one that pops into my head. I will go onto the various portals. So I'll start on LinkedIn, and then I'll go to the other popular portals, whichever ones my organization is using, and I will do a search. I'll insert the keywords that I'm looking for on the minimum requirements. So they're looking for somebody with a BCom degree, with 5 years experience, and must have had experience on a certain software, let's say Pastel. So I'll go put those in there, and I'll do a keyword search. So the aim of this section of our webinar is to get your CV or profile into my search results. So when I press enter, that your profile is going to come up on my first, you know, let's say within the first 5 to 10 pages, because those are the ones we tend to go through. Obviously, if I'm not finding somebody else, I'll change my keywords, or, you know, carry on looking. So a keyword search, as I've just gone through, is what we use in order to find a list of suitable candidates. So what we're going to do is aim to help you put your LinkedIn profile together, or whatever portal. So if we're looking at PMET or Career Junction, we want to optimize your profile so that you show up in more searches. And the more searches you show up in, the more chances a recruiter is going to contact you, and the more chance you will, you know, land an interview, and then hopefully the job. So LinkedIn, we're going to start from the top and work our way down. And the top of the page is our profile picture. So I've used my own profile picture for many reasons, but mostly I just, you know, poppy act and those type of things, I give myself permission to use my photo. So your profile picture doesn't need to be professionally taken to look professional. Also, something I touched on in the CV and cover letter. If you're going to put a picture on your CV, you know, try and do head and shoulders. You have a neutral background and decent lighting. We want to be able to see your face and see that you are approachable. Smile in your picture. You know, it's the first impression you're making, so make it count. So when I open your LinkedIn profile, I'm going to see that beautiful face and that friendly smile, and I'm going to think this is somebody that I can approach for that role. So the next section in your LinkedIn profile is the headline. So a lot of people just put their job title in there, but this is a very valuable section of your LinkedIn profile that you can use for more than just your job title. So again, the word I'm going to keep hammering on here is the keywords. So keep your keywords in mind. The more you use them throughout a profile, the more you will appear in the top of the search results. So in this section, try and use your headline as more than just your job title. In case of graduates, guys, try and not put recent grad. So when I am searching for a role, I'm not necessarily going to search for a recent graduate. You're going to put in the roles that you're looking for and the skills that you have. So if I am a finance grad, I'm going to put that in there. If I've just finished my IT degree, I'm going to put the software developer with Angular experience, you know. So when I'm doing a search, those are the things I'm going to look in there. If you're between jobs, not employed, you finished your studies and you haven't found something there, again, try not put seeking employment or unemployed, because again, from the recruiter's perspective, we're using those keywords. And when I'm looking for a software developer, I'm not necessarily going to find your profile if it says seeking employment or unemployed or recent graduate. I'm going to the ones that are it's, you know, all got to do with your SEO and stuff like that. The ones that are going to be pulled up are going to be the ones that have the words of software developer or maybe the software you're familiar with. So, you know, Angular or C# or that type of thing. So use skills and keywords and remember the keywords when putting them in, and think about the jobs that you want. So, but also be realistic. I mean, you know, I'll show you a couple of examples now. So the one profile I found, the individual is obviously in finance. So the O&O is open to new opportunities. So she's a senior bookkeeper. She is looking for, you know, a junior accountant or a financial administrator. Those are the type of roles she can have. So when I'm searching, I would, if I've, you know, had any one of those as a keyword, I would see her profile. Business visionary, business management consultant, debt management. The next one, you see financial services, motor industries. So those are industries. When we search, we look at industries, recruiter or salesperson, job titles, okay? And then food safety, quality officer, food technologist, food production developer. These are all different job titles that an individual could use. And you'll see there they say seeking opportunities. So you can put it in there, but it's not the whole headline. So if I'm looking for somebody in that field, I would still find their profile. And now I would know she's looking for opportunities, as well as the top one with the open to new opportunities. So the next section is your
Jackie, before we go to the next section, I want to quickly summarize some of the questions we got. The first is, are there some of these portals that specialize for specific careers, or are they all generic? Let's first look at that question.
So I'm sure there are portals that focus a little bit more on specific careers. I've touched a little later on, you'll see I've touched, there are ones specifically for grads, but you know, not that I've come across. I'm going to be very honest with you. These are the general portals, and most organizations, from your big ones to your small ones, are using these specific portals. You might get more maybe in your IT sector, some portals that are very specific to that. So you have, yeah, but that's your more technical side of things. There are, but in your general sort of recruitment, these are your general portals, yeah.
And then a question that we also got last week quite a number of times. What if my experience is not relevant to my degree? Say, for instance, I'm in finance, but my degree is an engineering degree. How do you get around that when you log your CV and your resume on portals?
Okay, so I've actually had that before in my career with candidates that are changing careers. So again, what I'm trying to show you here is how to get up in the right search. So you're gonna want to say that, you know, in that headline, say, I don't specialize in engineering at all, so I'm not very familiar with the job titles, but put a title that you want, perhaps, you know, the junior level titles, something that you would be able to apply for, put them in there in your headline. Because if you are putting your job title, so you have your engineering degree, but you've been in finance, and you're putting your job title in your headline, in your LinkedIn profile specifically, when I search for a finance person, I'm going to find your profile. But when I search for a finance person, I'm probably going to find your profile anyway. But if in your summary and in your headline, you've mentioned that I have a little bit of finance background, but I've recently finished my engineering degree and I'm looking to get into the engineering field in the following roles, X, Y, Z, then I'll know not to approach you for a finance role. I'll know to look at you for an engineering role.
Okay, I think that captures that one. And then the other one is a more logistical kind of question. How do
Mhm.
do recruiters view applicants that would require relocation? So you
Um,
get down and you apply for a job in Pretoria.
it happens a lot. So it's more on the client side. So a lot of clients don't actually mind. It just depends on how you view relocation. So yeah, in general, in my career I've relocated a lot of people. So some companies prefer people in the same province as them, or town, or city rather, because they need someone to start tomorrow, or as soon as possible, whereas relocation can take a little bit of time. With certain roles, I've placed a lot of CAs and those type of things that were in Joburg that wanted to move to Cape Town, or were in Cape Town for a while and wanted to move to Joburg. It really, relocation isn't so much of a huge issue.
Okay, thank you. And then the other one, what if I only have meet 2/3 of the requirements? Should I apply?
So again, it's what I touched on last week as well. It's difficult to say. I would say if you meet 2/3, I would say yes, apply, because you're a lot of the way there. There might be, then we're jumping back, but then there might be ways that you can relate to the organization in another way. So if you've done your targeted job search and you know that your skills and your competencies match that of what the organization is looking for, but say now you have degree, but you're missing a little bit of the experience, I would say, if go for it and do the application. I, as a recruiter, have placed people that haven't met the 100% of the requirements. Obviously we prefer to find somebody that does meet the requirements 100%, but that doesn't always happen. But 2/3, I would say that's all right. Yeah.
Okay, the last one for this round is, what if I only have soft skills, and because I'm an art student and I don't have any hard skills, how do I position myself? And I think it's more or less answered, but if you can just touch on that again.
So soft skills in the sense of, there I'm taking like your communication and those type of things, and hard skills as
Yes.
your actual experience. Yes. Yeah, so again, you're going to relate, you're also gonna obviously look at your targeted job search. So you're probably not going to go apply for a role that's looking for somebody that has a bunch of years of experience. You're going to look at your competencies, take advantage of the tools that you have to try and look at your competencies. So as I mentioned last week, as Golden Key members, you do have tools at your advantage with regards to psychometric assessments. There are professional career counselors that you can go to that can go and help you see what your competencies are, so that you can match those to certain employers. It's you'd have to dependent from role to role. You'd be looking at a recent grad role that's not necessarily looking for a lot of experience, and there are a lot of companies that will take people that have just finished their qualifications and train them from the ground up. So you'd probably be targeting yourself at those sort of roles rather than roles that are looking for experience. That's the best.
Okay, I'm moving to the background again, and you can continue. Thank you, Jackie.
Great stuff. So we're moving on to the next section. So the next section is the summary portion of your LinkedIn profile. So it either says summary or it says about. But this is the section where a lot of people use it as sort of like a cover letter thing, but don't leave the section blank. But make sure that it's worth the time for a recruiter or a employer to read. Don't regurgitate your CV. We don't want to have like 4 pages worth, I think you only get 2,000 characters though, or something like that. But you don't want this massive long thing that people aren't going to look at it. People have short attention spans. You want to highlight your professional interests. So again, as your recent grads, I've recently graduated in this degree and I'm interested in entering this field. But keep it short, keep it factual, keep it clean. 1 or 2 paragraphs will suffice. And then, think of this. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, your elevator pitch, but this is your elevator pitch on LinkedIn, where you can tell people the most important things they need to know about you and your career in under 30 seconds. So you're going to keep, people's attention. And then again, my favorite word throughout this process is the keywords. So we're keeping the keywords in mind. You're going to mention what experience you have, if you do have experience, or mention your qualifications, your competencies, and your skills. So if you are a developer, you're going to say, I'm a developer and I work on XYZ software and I have so much experience, because when I'm searching for it, it's going to have been mentioned in your job title, it's going to be mentioned in your headline, and it's going to be mentioned in your summary. So this is going to be something that's called keyword density. So I know this is a little bit much to read, but basically keyword density is the amount of times a phrase appears on a page. So in terms of your search engine optimization, the more keyword density you have, the more relevant it is to a specific search, and the more likely that your profile or your CV is going to come up in my search. So that's what we're aiming for, to optimize your CV for keyword density. So I want you to keep in mind those keywords. So if it's skills, experience, and then obviously your competencies, and they're going to sort of mirror what you've said in your headline. And then obviously if you have work experience, it's going to mirror your work experience. So this is a quick example. So a driven BA whose business requirement documents and technical specifications always pass the UAT. High energy, experienced business analyst, hardworking. So working with developers and users to produce requirements and specifications that are accurate to reflect the business needs. I'm not going to go through everything, but you can see from the first line the keywords I might use when looking for a BA. So meeting business requirement documents or technical specifications, UAT. He's mentioning his or her is mentioning their speciality, so clear communication, user acceptance testing, business requirement documents, technical specifications. So you can see that these things are reflected more than once, so that when I'm doing a search for a BA, I'll probably find this profile. There's another one. So this, I believe, is more of a sales role. Here they've mentioned a lot of the clients that they've worked with. You can see in the specialities. So why I took this one as an example is the specialities: management strategy, sales management, organizational development, process improvement. So here, a lot of the things like data mining. So maybe some of the grads, these are things that you could have learned in university that you can put up here. So my specialities, my skills, those type of things, put them in the sample section. So, use that space effectively. The next section is the work history and your education. So, pretty obvious, but this section must match your CV, guys. I've had a lot of times in my life or my career where I've got a CV, I look at somebody's LinkedIn profile, and the two don't match. So I'm like, which profile is it? Did you work here or here? So just make sure the same job title, same date ranges, and basic information, so that the two are similar. Use bullet points and list your skills. So while it must reflect your CV or complement your CV, it's not a copy of your CV. So you don't have to have the long drawn out job descriptions or work histories. Bullet points on your key skills will be great. Keep in mind the keywords again. So here as well, list those achievements and accomplishments. If you have facts and figures, add them in. So if you are in the sales sector and you increased revenue by 35% in the first quarter after starting there, list it here. So if I get that short bullet points of your skills, and then I can see the accomplishments, great. Chances are you'll be contacted. And the volunteering bit I've added here for the students. So if you don't necessarily have solid work history, but you have volunteered, you can add it in here. So we will look at that. It's what I mentioned last week, that a lot of skills are transferable into the working environment. So add it in there. And then obviously complete all of your qualifications. So we're using LinkedIn as a search portal. So I'm probably going to be looking for specific qualifications. So if my client is looking for a qualification, I'm going to search for it. So put it in there, put in the full qualifications. So if you've gone to the University of Pretoria, you've done your honors degree or any sort of qualifications, add them in here. We want to see it. And then, yes.
Sorry. Is there any way that you can list modules that you've done in your degree instead of skills?
So are you saying like courses and those type of things?
Say, for instance, you've done accounting and you've done financial management. Can you list those as skills now?
I think so, because you've got the theoretical knowledge, and as a recruiter, I know that even someone that's busy with the articles, we know that you have the theoretical knowledge. You're putting them into practice in audit, so people will want to come out of audit and go into a financial management role. You haven't necessarily got financial management experience, but you understand what a financial statement is, those type of things. So yes, I would say you could list those skills that you've learned in university in your skills section. I'm going to get to a skills section now. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if you scroll down, so I'm literally, if you were to be looking at a live LinkedIn page, I'm scrolling down. So now after the work history and the education, you get to skills. So the skills you can list yourself, or you'll see next to the skills here on the screen, there are little numbers. So you can be endorsed by your network. You can ask for endorsement. So if it's people that you've worked with, or even lecturers, or colleagues, or whoever, they will endorse your skills. So if you list HR consulting, recruitment, talent acquisition, etc., those are your top skills. You're going to want to list your top, say now, 10 or so skills here, because these are also going to come up in my job search. And the little number next to that is how many times somebody has endorsed this individual for their specific skill. So as a recruiter, when I'm searching down, I say, oh yeah, okay, listen, this person probably has done a little bit of recruitment, because I can see that other people in the industry or in their network are endorsing them. So here you can then list those skills that Elmi and I were just speaking about, with regards to skills that you've picked up during university that you've not necessarily put into practice yet. We understand that those skills are relevant, so put it there. So if you've got them, you can list them here. Then the next section we can look at is recommendations. So ask for recommendations, guys. If you have working experience, obviously it's a little bit easier. But it's, mainly I use my own, again, just because it's, I don't have to ask anyone's permission to use my own personal information. So ask for those recommendations. It's a great part of a LinkedIn profile for us to look at. It's like little mini references in your profile, so that a future employer or a recruiter can go look at. These things will grow as your career grows. So if you don't have anyone to ask for recommendations for now, it's not a train smash. It's not the be all and end all. It doesn't mean your CV won't get looked at. And then the section where you can list, LinkedIn calls it accomplishments at the bottom of the page, but here you can also list courses. So if it's stuff that's not necessarily a completed degree, but you've done a course on it, you can add it in here. Languages, list your languages. It's great, especially as a recruiter. Sometimes clients have weird requests that they want people to be able to speak like Portuguese or German or something like that. And if you have that on your profile, that's great. And then your organization. So, I definitely would list that I'm a Golden Key member. Your big corporates love it. They love to see people that are Golden Key members, because they know what it means. They know that, it has some sort of stature with it. And then whatever other organizations you're part of. So if you're a psycho member, or APSO members, or whichever professional bodies you can belong to, mention them here. So the next section, I'm taking you into PNet. So just tell me if you're seeing the website that I'm going into now. Elmi, can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. PNet, okay. I see it.
PNet. So I've logged you into PNet. I made a little fake profile today, so that I can show you what PNet looks like. So I hope that most of you have a PNET profile and yours doesn't say 0. But it's very basic. So it's going to follow the same sort of line as your, all of these portals are the same. But again, I know it's time consuming and I know it's frustrating, but go through the process. Choose your picture, go add your CV in, go through every single section, add in all your details here, your job title, if you've had one, the areas that you're looking for. Yes.
Members are saying they can only see your slide at this point, not the actual website that you're on.
All right, so let me see. I was worried about that. New share. This one. Share. And now?
Yes, I see it.
Members, can you see the PNET now?
Yes, they see it. Thank you.
Great stuff. So yeah, as I mentioned, it seems time consuming, but go through this. It's any profile you're going to go through. A lot of your larger organizations are going to ask you to fill this out, but you know, obviously there's mandatory stuff, but the non-mandatory stuff, fill it in as well. Then our job search. So the top bar there says enter job or skill or a province. So it's literally that easy, guys. So you're going to type in there, and we're going to say software developer. Let's hope I find someone or a job. And where do I want to work? I want to work in Johannesburg within a 30-kilometer radius, and we're going to go find our jobs. And then that's probably going to bring up the most relevant ones. So if you've then filled in your profile correctly, you're going to go through your details, you're going to see the role that you want to apply for, and you're going to send your CV off. So on the left hand side here, you'll see, you know, useful things on PNET that you can look at is new jobs. So look at the date the job is posted as well. I would generally say looking at something within 2 weeks. Obviously, you're going to see if you want to work part-time or full-time. And then if you're sector specific, you know, you can narrow it down even more to sectors, to regions, to cities, to experience. So let's then go back to the other one. So my next one is PNET. Oh, not PNET, Career Junction, sorry. New share. Let's go to Career Junction. And you should be able to see it. So same thing here.
Not yet, Jackie. Okay, there it is. Thank you. It was just a delay. No problem.
So you guys will see a common theme through all of the portals. They're going to ask you for the same information. Here, if I try it, you're going to go menu, and then you're going to say sign up. It's going to bring up your sign up page, and here you're going to start from scratch. So you go through all of the, you know, little checkpoints, upload your CV if you have a CV. So the great CV that we put together last week, you're going to upload here. And the beauty of these portals is they'll extract a lot of your information, but you still need to go through it. So don't just upload your CV and then leave it and press save, because when you're going down to your experience and your career history, and not career history, sorry, your education and experience, sometimes it jumbles things up a bit. So go through those, make sure the things are in the right order and they look good, and the information is relevant, because we need relevant information in order for you to come up in the job searches. So if you've just added it up, it hasn't pulled through properly, we're maybe not getting the right keyword searches here. And then let's go, and then the last one is careers 24, which is going to be relatively the same. Careers 24, new share, and then that'll be you. Okay, so I haven't done a one here, but let's just take that out. All right, so again, it's going to say, you know, are you employed? So what's great is a first-time job seeker. And then you're going to sign up. You're going to go through their process. All three of these portals, their search section. So the job section is going to be relatively the same. So you're going to search for a job title or skill in a province. And when you click go, then it's going to take you to another section where you can then, you know, refine your search. Then something for the graduates, because I realized that there are even portals as a recruiter that I'm not aware of. So I was introduced to two portals for specifically aimed at students. So the one is called YouStudent, and let me just get that one up for you. So YouStudent, so this YouStudent and the Leaply that I'll show you now are specifically for recruiters. Oh, not for recruiters, sorry, for graduates. And what they do is they actually handle a lot of the grad recruitment for your bigger organizations. So you're going to go there, you're going to load up your profile, and then they're going to help you with your career search a little bit, I think more than your bigger portals of your Career 24 or PNet will. So, you know, student assistants, I'm not very well versed in these portals, but I thought they are a valuable tool for graduates. Let's go back here, and then the second one is called Leaply. Let's go to Leaply. What they do, so yeah, like I mentioned, is they do the graduate recruitment. So they have big corporate clients. So, I mean, they've got a few listed here at the bottom. Your Barclays, Capitec, MTN, Old Mutuals, RMBs. So they are going to help you do what we're doing as well, building your brand, get discovered. And yeah, I think they're much more student central. So also going to help you with, not necessarily having a CV and that type of thing. And they have the graduate opportunities on them, which is great. So they're working with organizations that are probably only looking for graduates. So it's a great tool for people that are just entering the job market. Then, yeah.
Now, Jackie, just to ask a question, because we keep on getting that, is it a good idea then for specifically students with no experience to use this specific portal? Am I correct to say that?
I would say so, because these two specific portals, and I'm sure there are more, but these are two new ones I found out about, are focused on grad recruitment. So their clients are telling them, I want a graduate, somebody that has just finished their degree, doesn't need any experience. So yeah, I think this is a great tool for new graduates.
And then just another question, is it better to apply and upload your CV on all four portals, or should you only focus on one or two?
All four. The reason I'm saying that is I know it's repetitive, but as recruitment organizations, so we can look at the next slide. So as recruitment organizations, we need to pay for access to those portals. So we don't get access to them for free like the job searchers do, or job applicants, sorry. So not every agency will use all four portals. So not every agency or organization will use all four portals. So if you're only putting your stuff on PNet, you're going to miss out on the opportunities that somebody that's only using Career Junction has. So, you want to hedge your bets and put it out there as much as possible. You want to increase your personal brand as much as possible out there, and your footprint as much as possible. I wouldn't just limit it to one at all.
Thank you. And then can you please explain to us what the difference is between licensing and certifications that specifically refer to in LinkedIn?
So I think with LinkedIn, we have to also keep in mind that it's an international portal as well. So some things might not necessarily be relevant to us. I'm not sure what licensing is. Certifications will be things that you have that aren't necessarily a formal qualification. Yeah, that's what I can deduce from that.
And maybe also if you think of certain software, you get a license to do certain things in that software.
Possibly.
So that will be a specific license.
Yes.
And you can also, for instance, do balanced scorecard development, and you can be a licensed balanced scorecard professional.
Yes, I suppose, yeah, that's why it'll sit in the certification section of things, because it's not necessarily a degree, but it is, you know, you are licensed to do it. Exactly, yes. So like, I would, for example, use mine. I can do the PPA profile analysis. I've gone through their training and I'm able to do that. It's not necessarily a formal qualification, but I'm, you know, licensed by them to do that. Yes, thank you, Almi.
Okay, and then another question is it true that if your CV is rejected from Career Junction, they don't recognize your CV, that it's a good indication that you need to improve your CV? Or is it possibly the way you have uploaded it or developed your CV?
I think it's possibly the way you've uploaded it. So remember, there's going to be certain, this is something that we discussed last week as well, about that, the fancied up CV versus your boring black and white type of, you know, just typed up. For the portals, keep it simple, because they're using that software that's going to pull through your information. Sometimes they won't be able to, because it's not actually somebody sitting there doing it. It's literally software that's going to scan through the document, pull through the relevant education and work history and all of that, and then populate it into their format. If your CV is in a certain format, is maybe a JPEG, or, you know, I know some designers and stuff have the very, you know, fancy portfolios and those type of things, those won't necessarily pull through on the portals. It doesn't mean that your CV is bad. It could just mean that you need to do a different format.
And one of the Bright members just reminded us, for instance, if you want to fly a drone, you must have a license to fly that drone.
There we go.
So thank you for that. All right, I'm handing back to you.
Yes, well, we're at the end, so we're almost at the questions, and I think I've covered quite a bit of this as well, but it's just, you know, let's put it out there. If I did mention on your portals, fill in all the fields. Like I said, it's boring, it's time consuming, but put it all there, because the more you put in, the more I'm going to be able to find in my search. Go onto your portals regularly. So people are posting new jobs daily, weekly, so refresh it to see what's there, and then refresh your CV as well. So a lot of portals, most of the portals, when I'm doing a search from a recruiter perspective, it'll say profile last updated in 5 days, or profile last updated in 3 months. If I see something that says profile last updated in 5 days, I know this is an active job applicant, and, you know, chances are if I pick up the phone and tell you about my role, that you're going to be keen. So it's also going to bring your CV to the top of the search results. So if I'm searching for people that have been most active, you'll then be in the first couple of pages. And then make your CV searchable. It sounds silly, but on a couple of the portals, and I think Career Junction is one of them, it'll say make visible to only me, to recruiters and organizations. If you're really actively in the job market, make it searchable to everyone so that we can all see it and phone you. And then take advantage of the features and the tips on your portals, such as your job alerts. So when you are doing your search, most portals, even LinkedIn, will say, do you want to set an alert for this type of job? And then just tick yes. They'll send you an email daily or weekly, dependent on your preference, of the new job. So then that kind of cuts out point number 2, where you go onto the job portal regularly, because if you've set up your job alert, they're going to send you a mail the minute I upload a job that, you know, is suitable to your skills and experience, and then you'll be alerted of it, and then you'll be the first one up there to apply for it. So yeah, that's me. And you can also always use a professional service if you want. If you know, this is a lot of work. It is during these times to set up these profiles and CVs and, you know, cover letters. You're always welcome to use professional services to, you know, make sure that you're getting the right information out there.
Jackie,
So,
where do we get hold of those professional services? Who are they? How do you find them?
So I do offer those services as well.
Okay.
So there's people like me in the world that you get in touch with me. You can do a Google search on LinkedIn. So if you search on LinkedIn for somebody that helps with CVs or career services or cover letters or those type of things, you'll get people that do supply those kind of services. Yeah.
And then there's another one. Women may feel uncomfortable to put their addresses on the job sites, but the portals require that you fill out those fields.
So again, like I said last week, sometimes then I fully understand how you feel, and I feel like you share a lot of personal information with these job portals. But from a recruiter perspective, we have to. So if anybody knows sort of the POPI Act, it's the Protection of Personal Information Act. So as a recruiter, any personal information you put on those portals, I need to keep private. But you can put perhaps just a suburb. So not for me, it doesn't matter what street you live in at all. But I like to see that you're in Centurion, or that you're in Cape Town, or, you know, Western Cape, or, you know, the Free State or something like that. Because if I'm looking for a role in the Free State and you're in Gauteng, you might not want to relocate. But there's also a section on there that says, are you willing to relocate? So tick that, guys, if you want to. But yeah, you don't have to.
If you're very versatile and you're actually skilled in several industries, like service design or brand management and UX design, and you have a CV for each one of these industries, but you can only have one profile, what is the best approach?
Targeted. So we're looking at the targeted job search again. So I think if you look at what we discussed last week about the targeted job search, you're going to put on what you want to apply for. So it doesn't help putting up your UX experience if you're looking for a brand manager role, because then when I pull up your CV, all I'm going to see is the UX. Maybe put something together that combines a little bit of the few, so that, you know, if my client is looking for a UX or a brand manager that has knowledge of UX, then I'll still see that you match the two. So I wouldn't say ever exclude or isolate any sort of experience. I would want to see all of it. If you couldn't combine it at all, that would be great. But if it's absolutely impossible to combine, then I would say put the one up that you are is most relevant to the job that you're applying for. Some of the portals will allow you to have more than one document, and then select the document that you want to apply with.
Then also, we get this question quite often, and is it really true that you can be overqualified for a position? I may have a master's, and I've been applying for 3 years now for junior positions, which require a diploma, but I don't get any callbacks. Or is it my CV that's not good enough?
So it depends on the role. So sometimes people, I think maybe can be, some people think that because you have a master's, you might get bored in the role, or, you know, the role is not necessarily what you're looking for. There, I think the CV and your cover letter and your communication with that recruiter or organization are very important. So while I have a master's degree, I'm interested in this role because of XYZ, because I feel that I can add value because of this. My competencies match those that you require. So it's what you put in there. That's not necessarily just the degree staring at them in their faces.
Right. We do need to understand that people also feel that you won't stay if you are overqualified for a position.
That's right. You're going to get bored in the role if it's below you and that type of thing. Yeah.
And then here's another one. How does an individual pass a psychometric test once shortlisted? Despite me having 3 years of HR experience, but getting rejected before even having an interview because I failed my psychometric test.
So you can't fail a psychometric test or assessment. yeah, you can't necessarily fail them. So again, it's a really tough job market out there at the moment. So the chances are, when people are using psychometric assessments, they're not using them on their own. So no one is making a job decision or a hiring decision based on a psychometric assessment alone. So they will take a look at your CV and your experience and the psychometric assessment, and then combine an interview as well. I understand that you're saying you're not necessarily getting the interviews, but they are probably, remember my first slide or second slide with the 200 applicants. So there are, it's just a very tough market, but you're not failing a psychometric assessment. There's probably many other factors that are included in that process.
So I want to remind Golden Key members that they can do the free online HFM talent scan assessment, and that can also be included in your CV. So the value of that assessment is 800 Rand. All you need to do is log into your profile, go to the shop, and select the talent scan. It's free of charge for Golden Key members. So you can really package your CV so much better if you have that assessment as well. Am I right, Jackie?
Yes, 100%. It is something that I mentioned last week, that let me see if I have my notes on talent scan. So the talent scan is going to give you, it's a personality based assessment, and it's going to look at your workplace skills. So yes, and these are sort of more generic, but they're going to look at what's sort of transferable across goals, so across jobs. So it's a very valuable assessment that you can use when going through your interview, putting together your CV, with regards to your cover letters, these LinkedIn profiles, your summaries. You're going to take the information you're getting from these talent scans, and take those competencies and skills that are coming out of that and using them. Yes, absolutely valuable tool.
And if people want to reach out to you, I've asked them to give us to send us a mail to South Africa at goldenkey.org, and we will pass them on to you. Then there's another interesting question that says, I've wondered that if a job post is designed to be open for 2 months, recruiters usually do not view candidates who apply a week before it closes. Is it true?
I don't know from other recruiters' perspectives. So what happens on the job portals is the job portal will put a job open for a certain amount of time. So it's not necessarily a recruiter that is putting the time limit on it. I can tell you, if a recruiter has found enough people for their role, they'll go close their role, whether it was supposed to be open for 2 months or a month. So if the job is still open and accepting applicants, they'll probably still look at your CV. I would, because the only reason I leave a job open is if I'm still accepting applications and I haven't necessarily found the right person. So I don't think that's true.
A rule. It's not a rule.
No, it's not a rule. It's not a rule we go by, no.
So, and similarly to being overqualified, what about age? That can be an impediment to being recruited.
Age, again, I've had clients that are, we're not actually supposed to, it's not supposed to matter. So we can't necessarily recruit on that thing, on that as a criteria. There are a lot of clients that don't care. That want the experience. So a lot of people want the knowledge that comes with that experience. So don't let your age put you off. You'll probably be rejected, but so will a 21-year-old. Your age is not necessarily going to mean why you're rejected or not. In my 13 years, I've placed people of all ages. So yeah. I don't think it's something that should stop someone from applying for a role, because you could be that individual that I'm looking for based on your skill.
All right, I got another question. Let me just quickly look at it. Another person say, if one is willing to work for free, and just transport money just to get to the experience necessary to break into the field. That's volunteering, basically.
Yeah.
How does one get that across to potential employers?
You could put it in your cover letter, but it depends on the role. So if you're applying for an internship or something, they're going to tell you if there's only, I think that's called the stipend, if they're only offering that. But I don't, it's difficult. I don't think it's necessarily something you need to say in a cover letter. I understand that you're looking to gain experience. Rather try and get your skills and your competencies and your experience across, rather than I'm willing to work for free.
And isn't it also true that if you do have a network on your LinkedIn profile, and you accept and you invite people, that by knowing people, it's also easier to start to volunteer in certain business sections?
Yes, so LinkedIn is such a valuable tool. Grow your network, accept invitations, make invitations, go and follow the companies that you want to work for. So make that like your little bucket list. If you're interested in working for Old Mutual, follow them, see what they put out there, and then you'll probably see in their news feed and things that they put out onto LinkedIn, that there might be opportunities that recruiters maybe aren't getting. That's not necessarily a job or something, or there's a project that they're working on. Yes, I agree with you, Almi. Those are ways that you can get into somewhere where you're going to be volunteering. You'll then also see the person that's posted it, and that's what LinkedIn's for. It's for networking. Send them a message. I get messages daily of people wanting to connect and say, this is my, what I'm looking for. I might not have something for them right now, but I know who they are.
All right, and I'm going to close the session with a couple of more questions. We have dealt with many of the questions in the previous session, so please go to our YouTube channel, search for YouTube Southern Africa, and then you will find the recorded session of last week, plus an example of a CV that Jackie put together for us that you can also use. But it is in there. Make sure that you go and have a look at it. And today's session is also recorded, and we will also upload it in YouTube. And for people who still can't find the talent management, Megan says it doesn't take her any further, or she didn't get the final report. Please send us a mail, southafrica@goldenkey.org. We will respond to you. And if you keep on asking, I specifically look at all those mails and we assign them, so you will definitely be acknowledged. And then if you have done online courses, can you write them on your accomplishments? Yes, of course.
Yes, definitely. I would say so. So it's something that we chatted about last week. So your Udemy's and your LinkedIn Learning and all of that. Yes, you can put them in as your courses, definitely.
And the last one that I'm going to deal with, so please don't post more questions. We'll deal with all other relevant questions in the email, is does it matter how relevant your LinkedIn connections are? Many recruiters recommend you connect with every single person.
So the relevance of your connections is growing your network. So if you are, yes, connect to everyone, but if you want to grow a certain network, of IT professionals or finance professionals, if I am a first connection of yours, you will then introduce me to more people in the finance space, if you understand what I mean. So
yes.
It grows network in a certain sector or industry. I wouldn't say don't accept somebody's connection request because they're not necessarily, in the same sector. But if you're sort of specific to the industry that you're in, for example, then that those connections are just going to grow your connections in that space. It's like this whole little bubble that grows.
There are connections that I do not accept, like an astrologist that wanted to connect with me. I said, well, it's not on LinkedIn. So that is
You don't have to. Remember, LinkedIn is a professional portal. It's not a,
Yes.
it's not a, okay, it's social, but it's not your Insta or your Facebook account or something like that. And also, if you don't have to. If you feel like that is not a connection that's going to add value to your profile or your network, don't accept them. They don't really know if you do. Well, they'll know if you don't, but yeah, it doesn't matter. They're not going to come back. It doesn't matter.
No,
yeah.
they won't. So thank you very much, Jackie, for once more a very, very interesting and successful session. Please note, everybody, the sessions are recorded and we do upload it in our YouTube channel. And if you can't find anything, please send us a mail at southafrica@goldenkey.org and we will give you the specific link to the video of this session as well as the previous one. Thank you for making time to join us, Jackie, and thank you again. We appreciate you.
Great stuff. I look forward to next week.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you very much, Jackie. Have a good evening and keep safe. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So people can leave the session with a red button at the right bottom of the screen.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much, Jackie.
Pleasure. We'll
People
chat soon.
are, yes, thank you very much. We see you next week.
Yes, definitely. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Have a good evening.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We see that you've enjoyed this session. We appreciate your participation. Bye. I see Philip is still on.